All right, right back here, guys. We're in the 10-0 Rabbit Arena right here on chess.com. 786 players participating in this event, and I'm bringing you a couple more games just so you can get an idea of the type of mistakes that below 1,800 players make. So what we're going to see here is we've got Chester, ex-Chester, who's a 1,300. See what kind of moves Chester is going to give us. I argue that, your rating would be higher unless you have a weakness somewhere in your game. So let's see if we can't try to find what the weakness is with Chester. So far, Chester is doing okay. His time management is decent. Oh, he's decided to start an attack early. This could get him into a little bit of trouble, guys. He's prioritizing attacking before getting his king safe. So what I'm going to do is develop my pieces naturally and get my king safe. Now note, if he plays bishop h6 to try to unplug my dark square bishop, I'm going to do what we call a intermezzo or an in-between move and capture his knight first. Now he's castled queenside, which is something that is not bad, but it could get him into a little bit of trouble, and it does because he's dropping material right away. See, this bishop was overworked. His idea was to try to take my bishop, and once I attacked his bishop with my knight, he lost the defense of his knight because the queen was not a true defender of that piece. So now he's just losing all of his pieces. I'm going to go ahead and grab the free piece here and return, attack another rook, and calmly return. I'm going to actually take with the pawn, opening up the F file so that my rook can join the attack. We'll defend. Oh my goodness. He missed the fact that my queen was hanging. So I'm going to actually sacrifice here. Queen takes bishop and then check him and pick up the queen. Because I did drop my queen there and he missed it. Okay. So this knight move is not allowed at the moment. So he goes the other way. I'm going to go ahead and push the pawn and see if I can't capture this way. This knight is not doing anything. I don't actually understand what this move is supposed to do. I'm going to grab a pawn here. He does not have check. He's attacking my knight. We don't really care. Let's go ahead and put a rook on the second. 27, 27, 27. Okay, we have knight takes pawn. We also have rook takes pawn. We're going to take knight takes pawn. And rook takes pawn. Lots of stuff hanging. Not sure what my opponent is up to anymore. Okay, finally found a check. Finally found a check. That's his. Then we're going to go ahead and put pressure on the knight, which indirectly is protecting my knight. So once he figures out what's going to happen with this knight, I'm going to play knight to e3, forking his bishop and his rook. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take his bishop. All right, and that's a GG. So there you go. Chester, let's just take a quick flashback through this game to see what all happened with Chester. Okay, nothing wrong with e4, guys. I'm challenging with the center. The idea is you're supposed to be getting your pieces developed towards the center in the beginning of the game. Always pay attention to that because he who controls the center controls the direction of attack. My move is a flank attack on the center. Okay, he naturally develops his knight. This is getting him one step closer to getting his king safe. That's correct. Knight c6 is continuing to put pressure on the center. Now he plays d4. Nothing wrong with that. I always argue that capturing a center pawn with a flank pawn should probably be something you should do. So he captures, and now I'm going to play g6, continuing my idea with attacking the center from the flank. He develops his queenside bishop, which is not normal because if you look very closely in this position, he is only 2 moves away from getting his king safe, right? But instead of getting his king safe to the king side, he opts to castle queen side, which means he's got to move 3 pieces out of the way. So this is why the minute he plays bishop e3, I'm on red alert thinking, okay, wait a minute. This move might not be the priority that you want to have if king safety is something that you care about. So I continue with my natural move, bishop g7, going towards the center. There's nothing to see here. The knight is already double protected. I'm just developing my piece. He then continues with queen here. So this move says I'm going to attack and not get my king safe. Now he has equal chances to go either direction, but at the cost of allowing black to get his pieces moving very quickly. So I understand king safety, and I'm going to get my king safe. I'm just going to develop my knight. I'm not worried about bishop h6. Because if he plays bishop h6, for example, I just take this attacking his queen. If he captures with his queen, I take the free knight. Now, you might say there's an intermezzo there, coach. Bishop takes bishop, knight takes knight on attacking the queen. We have bishop takes queen with check, and we get to keep our queen, right? So that's not going to work. And if he says bishop here, I'm sorry, if he says bishop here, yeah, so that's the end of those variations. So none of that is good. So this queen move is suspicious. He chose to develop his queenside knight, suggesting that queenside castling is what he's going to do. I don't really care. I'm going to castle, get my king safe. He castles. I'm a fan of him castling in the first 10 moves, but the moves that he made were a little bit suspicious because now it's black who has the initiative and it's black's turn to start attacking. Giving away white's first move advantage. So I simply put pressure on the bishop, which is a primary defender of this knight on d4. Normally in this position, you would see knight takes knight right away to relax the tension, and that's probably what he should have done. But instead, he moved his bishop out of the way, doing actually nothing. This bishop going here doesn't do anything other than drop material. So we go ahead and grab the free knight and set up our next attack, which is going to be the forking of the rooks. And you saw that in the game in real time. He temples the knight. We just grab a pawn and fork the rooks. He continues. We grab a free rook. Nothing to see here. He's just shoving the pawn, kind of rattled. We retreat our knight out the same way we came in, attacking another rook. He slides his rook over. We retreat our knight back to the g4 square. He captures a pawn. We open with our f pawn because we want to use the f file with our rook to quickly be able to add another piece to the attack on his king. Opening with the h file in this particular instance would not have given us any significant advantage because we can't utilize the open h file with any piece. So he plays bishop to d3, which basically turns this bishop into a tall pawn. There's nothing going on here. I decide to cement control of my bishop, failing to realize that this pawn was pinned to the queen, and I have just now allowed him to capture my queen. He missed it also and slid his rook over to the open file. Now, I didn't see anywhere that I wanted to put my queen, so this is why I decided to go ahead and just grab the bishop and hit him with the little reverse tactic, forking the queen and the king and liquidating more material off the board. So this knight move is not really dangerous. There's nothing going on here. We're just going to continue to try to get pieces out. I pushed the pawn so that my bishop could join the game. The pawn is protected by the knight, and he simply comes in and attacks 2 protected pieces. I capture. That's not a pin. He attacks my knight, which is totally fine. There's nothing going on there. I put my rook on the 2nd. Rooks belong on 27s, the 2nd and the 7th. I can't go to the 7th. This is closer to the king anyway. The reason that you put your rooks on the 2nd and the 7th is to limit the movement of the king. So if you have the opportunity to do that. But it starts first by getting your rooks to open files. He now challenges my knight. I simply grab the pawn, which is double attacked. by both the knight and the rook. He now grabs a pawn himself, tempoing my rook, don't sleep. And I just grab another pawn. He puts me in check for the first time. I move my king out of the way, moving to a dark square because his knight can't attack me and his bishop can't attack me and his rook can't attack me. So he has no way to attack me. He puts his rook over here, threatening possibly to come down in here. We're going to blockade that whole F file with our bishop, simultaneously putting some X-ray on the king through the knight. So he challenges my bishop for control. This bishop is already protected. This is not that big of a deal. We already anticipated that this was possible, and we were planning to fork him on E3 with our knight. And that's what we did. He moves his rook out of the way. We grab the bishop, and he resigns, probably failing to see that he could capture my knight. But even if he does, I simply will check him, make him step to a crazy square, and he will get mated. And if he doesn't step that way and steps this way, I get to take the knight with check, forcing his king over into the corner and bringing the rook over to the D file and just pretty much setting up a mating attack again. So there you have it. That was our quick game in the 10-0 Rapid Arena against Chester 1348. GG's, and we'll see you guys on the next one.